to win. Play for make the race, one comes always score. If it hurts, you ain't the race, we'll get you, don't let up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win it. First year again, we're here for the first minute. Can everybody give you that 6 minutes?
Unbelievable place. Great university. Knoxville's unbelievable city, great people. The passion for football is even greater than I thought it would be. And man, Neyland Stadium, I said it, a couple of years ago, and I still think it's the best football experience for a college football fan or a player in the country.
Like I said, we play with a chip on our shoulder at Tennessee. So, we get a lot of disrespect. So we want to make it clear that we're going to come out and dominate day in and day out.
Oh, it was very meaningful. I don't lose in Florida. So I took that one to the heart. Pretty much take every game to the heart, but yeah, I don't lose in Florida.
I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none.
Make your mind up right now. I'm going to play as hard as I can through the echo of the whistle.
That guy has to commit. I can see this fool. So as that guy comes, come on. He committed. I got him now. You got to see it. Get ready. Don't make it better to see it. Get out.
You see how much more pop that one had? Left toe out of the way, back hip through, bang.
Let's go. Flip. Get skinny. Get them help. I want to see you guys get tight hands here, and drive through it. Y'all got me? Good. Open. Find him. Hey, try to play with Vincent. Let's go. We good.
It will. I promise you. As bad as it hurts, make us that much better in the fall.
Shoot. Not up, boy. Way to put your eyes on that ball.
Getting my chest down, not sinking first. Yeah, it's forcing it, being dramatic. Set.
Make your mind up.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Dang it, I'm ready to go, man. It's football time in Tennessee. It's fall camp. I know we're only a weekend. Got a big scrimmage coming up tomorrow. Ben McKee is in the house. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. And look, no disclaimers here. We don't have to say it's just fall camp. We don't have to say they're in shorts and T-shirts and helmets. I'm fired up to talk about football. If you watch that opening clip that Vol Football put out on Twitter, and that doesn't get you excited, that doesn't get you fired up, if you don't love this coaching staff, I got to question whether or not you have a soul. I just don't know where you're at on this Wednesday night. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm ready to get into it. Let's run down the chat, see who we got hanging out with us. Volunteered 77 was here almost 3 hours ago, and he said, appreciate Ben McKee joining in and sharing his UT expertise Always has good info for all of all athletics. I was talking to somebody today about Ben coming on. I was like, man, I love it because I can just ask one question and then Ben talks for 20 minutes because he's got so much information. It makes my life easy. I like to sit back. You guys know I'm a fan of Ben and Jason Swain. I'm a fan of everybody, man. Anybody that brings me good content with Tennessee football, I'm a fan of. Chase Tidwell is here, dropping those custom Talking Balls emojis. We appreciate it. Kenny Jones in the house. Matt Zimmerman is here, says, what's up, Balls? Eric B. Jones in the house, excited about Ben McKee. We appreciate that. Appreciate his time. Let's see. Shaun of the Dead becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that. Thank you for the support. For as little as $1 a month, you get custom Talking Balls emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. But you guys, you members of the channel, are who give me the opportunity to do this full time. So I appreciate that, Shaun of the Dead. Thank you for the support. How about this? UT Punkin with a member chat. StreamYard finally got the member chats fixed. So if you guys have been a member for quite some time, you got a free member chat. You can drive it like a super chat. 22 months UT Punkin's been supporting this channel. Says, how fast time flies. This is the best Vols network on YouTube. I appreciate that, brother. I was just getting told how terrible I was on the general's quarters over at VolQuest. I didn't get involved. Somebody just decided to post and ask for good podcast recommendations, not named Boogie Bentley because he's terrible. But hey, I get it. You like who you like. If you hate me, that's fine. Little Spooky's here for 2. What's up, my friend? Thank you for the $2. Says, what's up, Boogie? Man, I'm excited. Let's just jump into it. Let's get Ben on here. Let's talk some Tennessee football. Retro for 2. Oh, gosh. Dog fee. What's up, guys? The only Georgia fan I maybe kind of like is Retro. So we appreciate that. Logan Overcash becomes a member of the channel as well. Guys, I cannot say I can't say it enough how much I appreciate those memberships. Dustin Sellers, member for 30 months might be the record. 30 months might be the record. Not going anywhere. Can't wait for the fan call-in shows. I say I'm going to bring Ben on and everybody starts dropping super chats. Parker Townsend for 5. Boogie X McKee. Let's go. Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's going to be a fun show. Pit Boss, member for 8 months. Appreciate that. Sport says, let's get it. Let's get it indeed. Let's bring the man on. What's up, Ben? Appreciate you coming back on, brother.
What's up, Boogie? Appreciate you asking me to come back on. Hope you enjoyed your off season. If you really had one, I know you've been putting out some great content. So, again, appreciate you having me on and hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great, man. I do kind of have an off season. Look, I cover recruiting, but you don't have an off season. But let's be honest. You know, you do a great job. I know you're a baseball guy, big time baseball guy. You do a great job with Go Vols 247 covering the baseball team. You got to be a little bit excited when fall starts to roll around, though.
Oh, absolutely. I got into this profession and chose this job because of my love for college football and SEC football, right? College football, it's the best sport on the universe. I just happen to be a sports nut and a sports fanatic. I love football. I love basketball. I love baseball. If it's a competition being played at the highest stakes, I'm watching. I'm just a sports fanatic. And you mentioned I'm a baseball guy. I grew up playing baseball. That was kind of my sport. It is my favorite sport itself, but in terms of entertainment value, it doesn't get better than college football and SEC football.
Well, let's jump into it. Let's talk a little college football. Overall thoughts. We're today, 1 week into fall camp. And like I said at the top of the show, no disclaimers. We don't have to make excuses around here and say they're wearing helmets, they're wearing shells, this, that, or the other. Let's talk some football. We all know, everybody in the chat knows it's 1 week of fall camp. It's early. Got a big scrimmage tomorrow. But what are your overall thoughts 1 week into fall camp in year 3 of Josh Heupel?
Yeah, 7 practices in, and they've only been in pads once. So that's something definitely worth pointing out. I always like to point out that we the media only get to see 10 minutes or so, and 2 of the minutes is stretching. And that is valuable. You take roll call and you see who's there that day and who isn't, who's banged up and whatnot. But I do like throwing those disclaimers out, if I'm being honest. But the guys look good, man. I think the team as a whole looks really good. I'm trying to almost temper expectations. I'm not really used to this feeling because I remember back under the Butch days and Pruitt days, it's like, I don't know. Let's pump the brakes on this team. I don't know that this team is going to be very good. I remember in 17, the season that got Butch fired, in training camp, you were kind of hearing some things of, I don't know how this is going to go. And fans obviously get excited every fall. And every year is the year that somebody's going to win a championship or go win 10 games. And that's just not Tennessee's fan base. It's every fan base in America. Everybody is as positive as they are going to be right now at any given point during the season. So I feel really good. I like what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm hearing. So it's weird to try and temper expectations and make sure that I'm not fooling myself is, I guess, what I'm getting at. I'm trying to remember that this year's team is different than last year's team. And just because last year's team won 11 games and beat Clemson and beat Alabama, that doesn't guarantee success this year. But I think they're going to be good. The question is how good. Like at minimum, I think 8-9 wins is the absolute floor. And I don't think that they're going to go win the national championship or anything along those lines. But I mean, I think that if everything goes according to plan, I think it'll be very similar to last year, where they're playing games in November that could help them get into the college football playoffs and potentially make it to Atlanta to play for an SEC championship. And I think in year 3, given what Josh Heupel and this coaching staff took over, I think that's a great place to be in.
And not to bury the lead and jump to the end of the show before we get you out of here and talk about expectations and predictions. But what do you think's acceptable in year 3? I know you mentioned 8 wins, 9 wins, somewhere around there for the floor. Can this team go win 10 or maybe even 11 games if you include the postseason? And, what's the floor for this football team to continue momentum? That's something, recruiting never stops. And I kind of joke about it because it's like the class of 24, biggest recruiting class in the history of college football until signing day's over and we go to the class of 25, right? Then that becomes the biggest recruiting class in Josh Heupel's career because recruiting never stops. But to continue that momentum, because, right now I think Tennessee's in a good spot. They have an opportunity to continue to jump in the rankings depending on how recruiting finishes. Right now sitting at 9th, according to 247 Sports. What do you think the floor ceiling, you say, but what do you think is acceptable for Tennessee in year 3?
That's a fascinating question. I think my expectations and kind of what's acceptable may be a little bit different than the fans because of kind of what I just talked about. I think a lot of people are assuming that just because they won 11 games in year 2 means that it's going to just be double-digit wins from here on out. And not that I necessarily think that that's the wrong way to think. It's just not the way that I think. I think last year's success and what the offense was able to do, I think it blinds people's memory that this is just year 3 and that in order to just show up every year and automatically win double-digit games like some of these other premier programs do, I think people forget that the defense needs to be better than what it was. And I think the defense is on track. I'm really excited about the future of Tennessee's linebacker room. Defensively, I think the front 7 is much further ahead than I thought that they would be at this point in camp. I'm really high on the front 7 right now. I really like where they are at. I'm expecting big things from them this season from the jump. I think they're really going to be able to carry that defense while some veterans in the secondary trying to figure out their footing and maybe some youngsters try to get into the mix and into that rotation to revamp the secondary. I think the front 7, the defensive line and the linebackers, I think they're going to give them some cushion to work with and give them some time to get better over the course of the season. But last year, the depth wasn't where it needed to be. The talent wasn't where it needed to be defensively. And again, I like where they're headed. I really think they're making big time strides, but it's still only year 3 after Josh Heupel and Tim Banks on the defensive side of the ball took over just an absolute cluster. I mean, it was just an absolute disaster when Pruitt left, as everybody knows, and it's well documented at this point following this summer and everything that came out with the investigation. So I think that's what's kind of holding me back from maybe the difference in opinion of what an acceptable season is. I think 8, 9 wins, depending on how it went, would be somewhat acceptable. I just think you need to continue to show signs of improvement from year over year. And again, I don't think they're going to win 8 or 9 games. I think they're more of a 10-win football team, quite frankly. But what do those wins look like? Or I should say, what do those losses look like? If you do lose 3 or 4 games, or are they close losses to football teams that have gotten better? Like I think South Carolina and Kentucky are sneaky good football games on the schedule, and could sneak up and bite Tennessee if Tennessee's not ready to play that day. I think Tennessee's better than both of those teams. I think Tennessee will win both of those games, but it's not the traditional game against Kentucky, game against South Carolina where you can just roll your helmet out there and it's an automatic W. You need to continue to get better. You need to show up that day. So fans automatically mark that up as a W, which is fine. But I also remember that they're still trying to build this thing out. The culture is where it needs to be. The offense is always going to be great under Josh Heupel, even in year 3. But there's a little bit of fear in me that the defense maybe causes Tennessee a game or two, just because they still are going through growing pains. It is still year 3 for them after it was such a debacle that Heupel took over just 3 years ago. So I guess I would settle at 8 or 9 wins would somewhat be like the floor in terms of being acceptable. But and the reason I'm hesitating when I say that, Boogie, is because even that, like, people are going to be disappointed, and rightfully disappointed. Not trying to excuse winning just 8 or 9 games. I think this is a better football team than that. I think they would be selling themselves short if they just won 8 or 9 games. But I guess my main point is that I'm also not going to look at that as a complete failure either.
Yeah, there's so many things to it. Somebody asked, "Oh, what's acceptable, what's not?" Like you said, the key point is, how do they win or how do they lose, right? That's really going to impact whether 8 wins is acceptable or 9 wins is acceptable. You know, I've got them at 9-3 this year. I think they can go win 10 football games, but I also think they can win 8 games. Just the schedule's so tough. The Kentucky game's one that's circled on my calendar too, where it's at in the schedule. So many things. The depth that you talked about on defense specifically, I get excited about the depth on defense, and then I look and I'm like, man, there's a lot of sophomores that I'm counting on, right? So a year from now, 2 years from now, that's when we start to get really excited about the depth. Let me jam through. We got a bunch of super chats, 215 people watching live. Help us out, guys. Smash the thumbs up. Share this thing out. We would appreciate it. Let somebody know we're live. Fish and Beans for $2. Thank you for the super chat. This team is looking more and more scary. GBO, appreciate that. Fish and Beans. Joey Carroll, member chat for 27 months, guys. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you guys that have been riding with me for over 2 years, man. I've been here for a while. Appreciate that, Joey. Eric Jones for 28 months. Appreciate your support. Eric's always here, always hanging out. Pit Boss for $5 says Dorothy. We appreciate that, Pit Boss. Also, Wayne Starnes for $5 says Go Vols. That's basically a door fee as well. There's an entry fee to get into the Talkin VAWLS network. Some people sneak in. There's about 208 people that have snuck in, but we appreciate those door fees. Thank you, Wayne. Crypto Vol, member for 10 months, feels like 98. Saw an article today comparing this team to the 98 team, and I'm like, man, I can't get it. I can't get into that. Cannot get into that. Dustin Sellers for $20. That is not cheap. Ben McKee from unnamed location. You know what? Why does everybody think you're in a bathroom? Clearly, those are blinds. Clearly, you're not in a bathroom, right?
I assure you that I am not in the bathroom.
Everybody thinks that's a shower curtain behind you. It's clearly not. It looks like my blinds, which you can barely see, but
they are blinds. I'm in my bonus room / office that we pieced together. I'm in the corner, so I guess that doesn't do me any favors.
It's all right. I think you look great. Love all your content across all sports UT. Glad to see you on Talkin VAWLS. Who is going to replace Fant in short yardage goal line situation? Selden, Warren, Khalifa.
That's a great question, and I appreciate the kind words, Dustin, for sure, and appreciate your support in Boogie as well and his great content. That's something. I think finally Tennessee has a couple of different options. I think the ones that you mentioned are great. Possible answers. Khalifa Keith, man, that kid is yoked up for a freshman running back, really for anybody at any age. I mean, but even for a freshman coming in, looking the way that he does, you kind of see the weight pop off the roster. And I don't know what exactly his weight is off the top of my head, whether it's 230, 240. I believe it's somewhere up there, but he doesn't look the way that his weight says it should look. I mean, it's a muscled
Shredded,
230,
shredded.
240. He is shredded. He looks really, really good. And I think Tennessee really likes where he is at. Not in the sense of him receiving a bulk of the carries this year, but maybe being used situationally, like a short yardage situation. I think physically he is perfect for short yardage situations. It's just going to come down to whether he gains the trust of the coaches when they're practicing these situations. But he's one that they're really excited about for the future, and is one that we could maybe see used in those type of situations. I like McCall Castles, the UC Davis transfer. I think he's somebody that is going to surprise people and be a 2.0 of Princeton fan. I think he is very, very similar to Princeton. Don't want to completely compare them because Princeton had an outstanding year last year, and McCollum's going to have to play really, really well to play as well as Princeton did. But Castles is going to be a Swiss Army knife that does everything for them. And he spoke to the media today and has a couple of times now this fall. And he really looks good in a T-shirt and shoulder pads as well. So I could see him being used as a short yardage back. Cam Seldon's he looks really good physically. And that's been the biggest takeaway, Boogie, kind of this first week or two of camp, is just this team just physically looks so much different than it has the last couple of years. Kurt Schmidt and that strength program has done a great job. So Tennessee finally has several different options it can use there in those short yardage situations.
Jam through a couple of more super chats here. Backwoods Vol for Life says, let's go, boys. 21 months, been a member of this channel. We appreciate the support. Backwoods Little Spooky's been a member for 9 months. Wade Rouse has the Talkin VAWLS logo tattooed on his body. The Talkin VAWLS logo tattooed on his body. Thank you for the $5. Says Keith is faster than you think too. I watched him in the MSL All-Star game last year. Broke a couple of long ones. Thank you, Wade, for the super chat. Appreciate that, brother. This is a big one. Timmy G for $100. $100 is not cheap. We got a thing we got to do around here when somebody drops a big spot. We got to do one of these.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
And I'll even throw in one of these since it's a hundo.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
Timmy G for $100. You guys blow my mind, man. Like every single day you blow my mind. I think if the O-line can hold together, we will have a great year. Go Vols. Man, I had all these questions formatted to get us through 30 minutes, and the chat's just doing it for me. So let's talk about the offensive line. A lot of people, Ben, consider that a weakness on this football team. You're trying to figure out who's going to be at that left guard position. You know, you look at center, right? And Cooper Mays is a guy. Can he stay healthy, first of all? And I know they're being precautionary with him. I kind of like, if I have to be positive about that precautionary stuff, I like that Addison Nichols, a young guy, is getting some reps at center, and maybe he's the guy that ultimately replaces Cooper Mays. And then Ollie Lane, I think it was today, took some reps at center. But what do you think about that offensive line group as a whole, and can they hold together?
It's definitely the biggest question on the offensive side of the ball. I really like where Joe Milton is at, which is odd. Like, we're 20-something minutes into this, and Joe's just now being mentioned, I believe, which speaks to his growth as a football player. He's looked really good in camp so far. What was really impressive today, throwing the change up, putting a little touch on some red zone passes into the end zone. But I like where the quarterbacks are at. I like where the receivers are at, tight ends, running back. The big question is O-line. And I think they're going to be fine. And kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, I think the team overall is going to be good. The question is how good. And I kind of feel the same way with the offensive line. It may be the weakest on that side of the ball just because somebody has to be the weakest. But I think that they will end up being okay, but really have a lot of potential to be really good, I think, as well. Although it may take them a little time to gel together and get up off the ground and really get going. But I like John Campbell at left tackle right now. Ollie Lane, Andre Carrick, and Carrick got a little banged up today, if I'm not mistaken, and nothing super crazy, just little nicks and knacks, little bumps and bruises, which comes with playing football, especially up front along the offensive line. But I think Ollie would start there at left guard right now, and mainly just because of the experience factor. He's been playing college football forever. He's been in Heupel's program all 3 years, and I think if Tennessee is going to reach its ceiling along the offensive line, they need Andre Carrick to eventually be the guy at left guard. But I think Ollie Lane is more than serviceable and capable of getting the job done. So I see Ollie there right now. And then the other big question outside of left tackle, although it seems a little more settled now, a week and a half into camp with John Campbell, but that's still a question mark until John Campbell goes out there and proves that he's going to be the guy for all 12 games. The bigger question right now is right tackle, where it could be Dane Davis, it could be J.J. Crawford, it could be Gerald Mincey. It's interesting to me that it's mostly been Dane Davis and J.J. Crawford at right tackle, and Gerald Mincey's more so been working as the backup left tackle. That has maybe been the biggest surprise for me this camp. But I don't think that's because Mincey is necessarily just been awful. Glenn Ellerby said on Tuesday, I guess it was, or maybe it was Monday. I don't know. My days are running together at this point, but said that Mincey had his best day. I believe it was Monday. Had his best day of camp on Monday, and that he's been getting better. He's been playing both left and right tackle. So ultimately, I think they have 4 tackles that are capable of just kind of getting the job done, and they're going to be fine. But they definitely need to figure out those positions. Because O-line is a position of cohesion. The best offensive lines are the ones that have been playing the most football together, because it's one unit kind of getting everything done, not just one individual player. So that is something that I'm very interested to see kind of what the word is on the offensive line coming out of this first scrimmage. The defensive line is certainly ahead of the offensive line right now. So don't be surprised when you hear tomorrow that, hey, the defensive line kind of got the better of the offensive line. That's to be expected. They have more veterans. They have more guys that have been here, guys that are more established, and they're deeper as well. So don't be surprised if you hear the D-line's ahead of the O-line. But that is something over these next 2 weeks or so as they get into scrimmage 2 and scrimmage 3 and start building towards September 2nd. Where's that offensive line at? Because as crazy as it sounds, like I have more questions with the O-line than I do with Joe Milton. And I don't think that I would have believed I would say that one day if you told me that when Joe started back in 2021 as a starting quarterback.
I've got so many things I want to get into, but we're going to get you out of here in just a couple of minutes. Guys, go check out what Ben's doing. You can follow him on Twitter at Ben McKee 14, also over at GoVols 247. What do you guys got going on? You guys got any specials, any deals? What's going on over at GoVols 247? I know you do a great job with the practice reports. I love that you guys, put it in a written form, but then also you're normally on the video. You guys do great work every practice. And, sometimes you guys in the media sell yourself short. You're like, oh, we only have limited access. Guess what? The fans, the common man, we don't have any access. So without you guys, we're flying blind. So you guys do a great job. What's going on over there at GoVols 247?
Certainly appreciate that. Right now we've got a 60% off deal that has been kind of changing as we go throughout the month of August. So be sure to hop on that 60% off an annual subscription. And you get access to everybody over at GoVols 24/7 pretty much anytime you want to get access to us over on our message board. And we've got complete coverage of practice and the first week and a half of camp over there at GoVols 24/7. And we will certainly have plenty of coverage of tomorrow's first scrimmage in August.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue to talk about that scrimmage. What are you looking for tomorrow? Scrimmage number 1. I know it's still early in camp, but some people call it moving day, right? You don't earn jobs in one-on-ones necessarily, but when you're scrimmaging and it's good on good, it's a big deal. Tomorrow is a big deal. Scrimmage number 1 tomorrow morning. What do you need to see from this team tomorrow, Ben?
Yeah, I would. Number 1 is the offensive line. What I just talked about is the thing I'm paying most attention to, just because I think that's the biggest question mark with this team right now. And like I really like where Joe Milton is at. I'm expecting big things from Joe Milton. I think he's really, really going to play well this year. But what may prevent him from doing that is if the offensive line doesn't get figured out. So that's why I'm harping on the offensive line right now. I guess the second biggest question mark with this team currently, in my opinion, is the secondary. And I do think there's more depth and more talent back there in the secondary right now going into year three. They have so many bodies. So seeing kind of who starts to emerge back there over these next couple of weeks and couple of days, that's something that I'm keeping an eye on. I think people have given up on Warren Burrell and Kamal Hadden, and I get it. I really do. But I also don't think that they're as bad of a football player as maybe they've shown in the past. They were both pretty banged up last year, especially Warren Burrell. And I would not at all be surprised if they had solid years. I'm not expecting them to go be all SEC players, but I think that they can really be solid contributors at this level. They're often in position to make plays. Now it's about getting over the hump and making the play. So I'm curious to see if they can kind of step up and earn a spot. Gabe Judy Lowley, the transfer from BYU, he's kind of flying under the radar after a really good offseason. Danico Slaughter looks like $1 million. He's certainly going to be one of Tennessee's 2 starting corners. And then opposite of him, you have that group of veterans that I just mentioned, Lowley, Hadden, Burrell. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody else as well. But then also, like, you have some freshmen that are nipping at the heels as well. Ricky Gibson, Jordan Matthews, Christian Conyers. Like, those are guys that I don't know that they're going to be ready to play game one. But if Hadden, Burrell, if they're not different this year, then they'll find themselves on the bench probably sooner rather than later. So that's just a fascinating situation, in my opinion, right now, just because you have so many older guys that their careers have kind of been up and down and maybe more down than up. And now you've got an influx of talent. Can they take their game to the next level, or how quickly do the young guys emerge and take over some roles? And that's kind of the same at safety. You're going to get Wesley Walker back there, who I really like. You're going to get Jalen McCullough back there, who's a hot topic amongst fans. But, Andre Turrentine, other youngsters, Christian Charles, who's moved back to safety, can they press McCullough for a spot as well? So interested to see how the defense, the secondary, I should say, holds up. I think the front seven, again, is going to get the best of the offensive line tomorrow just because they're further ahead and they're more experienced right now. But that secondary, can they hold their own? And honestly, they should, because receiver spot is a little banged up right now. Nothing serious, just nicks and knacks and kind of being cautious with guys. Brew McCoy, Squirrel White, they've kind of been limited these last couple of practices. So the receiver room isn't 100% right now and probably will be somewhat limited tomorrow during the scrimmage. So that's a perfect opportunity for the secondary to step up and make some plays.
Always good stuff, man. Always love having you on. I didn't realize we've not connected since January when we did the charity stream. So hopefully we can do some more stuff coming up this season. I gotta throw this on the screen before we get out of here. Come on, Ben, hate on Kaner before you leave. I had Eric on last week and I made some comment. I'm like, oh, I'm having the enemy on, 247 Sports is going to be in the house, Ben McKee. And I was saying something that, talking about Keaton, which, God, we didn't even get into Keaton, but I've already talked about what you've said about Keaton and how, hey, he's showing up to compete. And I was like, I'd heard that Keaton, and I was like, come on, Kaner, I'll just be honest. It was Ben that said it, and he's like, oh, yeah, I hate that guy. So Kelly's giving you the opportunity to fire one back at Kaner before you get out the door.
Well, all I know is I made it through this whole 30-minute segment without talking about a male's genital parts and ending up on the Twitter sphere or X sphere, whatever it is nowadays. So at least I can mind my manners, speak properly, not speak about male genitals and throw it in the face of everybody. So no, I love Kaner. He's my guy. Even if we are technically competitors, he and I were just texting before I hopped on here. Anyways, and he shot me a question last night asking about the home buying process. So that's my guy. I appreciate him, but I did. First thing I said to him this morning when I saw him at practice, I I made fun of him for that clip of him speaking about footballs. Made its way across the internet. Or I guess it wasn't footballs, but talking about, I guess he was saying Joe looked really good in shorts, and said a couple other choice words by mistake after that as well. So at least I didn't do that, Kaner. Take that.
I love it. I love both of you guys. Like, both of you are two people that you came on the show. You didn't know me from Adam. Like, blind message, hey, you guys want to come on? And after one appearance, you both gave me your cell number, said if you need anything, text us. More than happy to come back on. Both of you guys, man, you are the up and comers, and it's fun to watch you guys continue to rise up the ranks. So you both do a great job. But I love to put you guys against each other and watch you guys fight. That's what I enjoy. But as always, man, I appreciate the time. Like I said, hopefully we can connect, do some stuff coming up this fall. It's football time, man. It's go time. So go check out Ben. Go follow him on Twitter. Drop that earlier. Go check out Go Vols. I always say 247, 24/7. You know what? I used to say 24/7. And the first time you came on, you said 247. So then I started saying 247. And now you're saying 24/7. But you guys know where to find them. Go check it out. Ben, I appreciate your time, buddy. Always a good time having you on.
For sure. And it's all about paying it forward. You know, Jason Swain did that for me when I was in college, just kind of shot him a blind message. And if it weren't for Jason Swain, I would not be sitting here talking to you. I would probably be coaching baseball somewhere. So just it's all about paying it forward. And I have now been working at Go Vols 24/7, Go Vols 247 for 12 months now. And I actually do not know the official way to say it. I'm not too ashamed to admit that. I think I asked Wes Rucker one time, who has been with the company for like a million years, because he's a million years old. And I think he was like, I don't really know. I think you can say it either way. So I don't know. I will try to find an answer and get back to you for the next time I'm on, which, as you know, always happy to jump on with you. You know I love to talk. So anytime you need somebody to come in and filibust for you, I'm here for you, my friend.
I love it, buddy. Appreciate it. Have a good night again. Thanks for coming on. Guys, go check out what Ben's got cooking up, man. He's one of the best in the business. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Later. All right, we got a couple of super chats we're going to get through. The show is not over. We got so much to talk about. I had so much lined up for Ben McKee. Guess what? Now we're going to the X Factor. We're going to Coach Jay. We're going to continue to talk about fall camp, what we're looking for in the scrimmage. I've got so many news articles, man. This thing, if you guys want it to go, it can go an hour and a half long. I have that much content in the back pocket. That's the thing. When you're a content creator, you don't know if a guy's going to talk for 2 minutes or 20 minutes. So I have to have everything in the back pocket ready to go. But let me jam through some of this. Rory Campbell becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that support, man. I cannot thank you guys enough. Continue to hit that join button down below. It's only $1. If you like the live streams, the crossovers, if you like seeing Kaner on the show, you like seeing Ben McKee, you like seeing JD Piquel, A to Z Sports, whoever it is, you like the content, the videos, the community, whatever it is that you like, if you want to support us, make sure you hit that join button. I cannot say it enough. That's what pays the bills. It ain't the ad revenue, because the ad revenue is dead on YouTube. It's you guys that pay the bill. So I appreciate that, Rory. Thank you for the support. Dan Yoder for $10 says, Milton Ferheisman. Yeah, let's go, man. Why not? Why not? And we're going to talk about Joe Milton coming up here in just a second with the X Factor and with Coach Jay, because there's some interesting points. I was watching a JD Piquel video today. Some very interesting points about Joe Milton and the pressure and the expectations and how the players around him can kind of ease that pressure off. So I'm going to get into that. Thank you, Dan, for the $10. Bleed Orange for $50. That's not cheap. I'll play the clip. Why not? I'll play the clip. That's a 50 spot.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Bleed Orange for $50 says, going to be a good year. Thanks for the content, Boogie. I feel the defense takes a few steps forward, and the offense is going to light it up. Boom, boom, room, entry fee. 15 is for, don't start that. 15 for Ben. I've got to PayPal Ben McKee $15 because of that super chat. I think it is going to be a special year, man. And I've said a lot in recent videos. I think the defense does take a step this year. And in hearing Ben, who's been able to take in every practice, and yeah, like he said, his time is limited, but I also got excited listening to Eric Ainge. I've been listening to a lot of EA this week. He has the capability to watch all of practice. And there's something he said, and there's something that McCallum Castle said, and I'm going to throw it to Coach Jay here in just a couple of minutes and get his thoughts on it, because it excites me. But hearing Ben McKee talk about the front seven, Gives me a lot of encouragement for this football team. But thank you, Bleed Orange, for the $50. $50 is not cheap. Let's do some plugs and chills. Check this out. The brand new Fuga shirts are here. Fuga, F-U-G-A. Somebody said I should say Fuga. I don't know how you say it, but it's F-U-G-A. The shirts are there, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can see t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, tank tops, premium hoodies, pullover hoodies. I'll be honest with you guys. I got a Gator Hater premium hoodie. The only difference that I can tell is it has white strings instead of the color of the t-shirt, either gray, black, white, whatever. That's the only thing I can tell. So if you guys want full transparency, I can't tell any difference in the premium hoodies. So if you want a hoodie, I would recommend just getting the pullover hoodie. Cannot tell any difference. We've got the Gator Hater shirts, a clean tri-star shirt. Again, different styles, designs. If you guys want something different, let me know. I can customize. I can add anything at any time. Buck Fama is back. All the favorites are there. Go check them out. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link's in the description as well. I'm thinking about doing something stupid. I'm thinking about giving away all the money I make tonight. Let's just do it. Why not? Screw it. We got brand new merch. Let's do something stupid. Let's give away a free t-shirt, right? Free t-shirt, your design, your color. You get to choose. How do you get entered to win? Become a member of the channel. If you're not a member of the channel, join button down below, $1. That's all I'm asking. But for every dollar you give, if you join at Talkin VAWLS Faithful or Talkin VAWLS Gold, if you give $5 a month, you're entered 5 times. $3 a month, you're entered 3 times. $1 a month, you're entered 1 time. If you go nuts, and I think the highest is like $25 a month, I will enter your name 25 times into the drawing, and we will give away a free shirt next week. So if you want that, hit the join button. If you're not a member, get in where you fit in. But, I'm not like Sprint. I'm not like Sprint or one of these companies. I'm not just going to recognize the new members. I'm going to recognize the old members. So you old members can enter as well. How can you enter? Leave a comment after we go off air. Once we're off air, leave a comment. I will include you guys in the numbers. So that's what you got to do. If you're already a member, leave a comment. I'll come back a week from now. We'll give it away next week. Without further ado, let's get these guys on here. Let's get Coach Jay and the X Factor in the house. What's up, fellas?
What's good? What's good? What's good? I say, just think about it. Look, after this Saturday, we got 3 more Saturdays to go to. It's football time in Tennessee. I don't know about you two, but I'm pretty hyped. I'm pretty hyped.
Hold on a second, Coach Jay. What shirt are you wearing? Okay. I was about to freak out if you had the State Pride shirt on. It's going to get real weird around here if you were repping the State Pride shirt tonight.
No, it's like a like a school fundraiser marathon type shirt.
All right. I thought we were all wearing the same shirt, but all is good. All is good in the world. We got so much stuff to get into. I've got all these articles I want to talk about, some stuff that I sent you guys. How much have you guys been watching fall camp? X, have you been keeping up with fall camp much or just kind of casually?
Just kind of casually, but I will say though, like I said on my Instagram, I was watching, a few clips from fall camp and stuff. Like I was actually watching some of the running backs go to work, and they added the 21 Savage song clip up in there, running. I say if you know, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, it actually got me pretty hyped about this running back room that's coming up. Like I said, I mean those boys were hitting pads each other. It's go time, baby. I'm excited.
Coach, what about you? How much you been keeping up with it?
I've been trying to keep up with it a fair deal. I think I mentioned it the other night. This is one of my favorite times of year, right? I love fall camp, or I love it when they get the pads on, right? Those first few days are kind of like, it's whatever. But as soon as something about throwing those little knee pads on that just changes everything, and you go from shells to full contact. And I think you've heard it in the practice reports. All of a sudden, everyone's got their little boo-boos, little tutus, little monkey bumps, little bruises, and you want to make sure your little precious gems are not getting damaged and scratched, and you want to make sure you got all your toys for the start of season. But you also want to make sure you bang those toys around, make sure they're going to stand up and last, right? So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. You mentioned it. I'm super excited about this front seven. I think it's shaping out really nice, and I think there's a lot of depth manifesting on the defensive line.
Well, let's start there, because first of all, it started because I was watching, dude, I've been so hard in the paint with Eric Ainge, and it's because Peyton Manning's forehead. I've not seen him in the chat, but he comments on the videos sometimes. He's actually in my town, and I see him at the gym all the time, and like we'll stop and talk or whatever. And I was talking about VolQuest and all this different stuff. He's like, man, all I listen to is pretty much you and then Eric Ainge. And I was like, man, I've not listened to Eric Ainge since the Tennessee sports radio days. And that's been forever ago. So I've been listening to Ainge, and it's I put a video out earlier talking about the buzz around fall camp because he gets to sit through, Ben said earlier, we get limited access. Eric Ainge gets to watch it all, And coming out of fall camp, the practice that he took in, he was asked, what's the best position group on this football team? You would think maybe some people would argue quarterback, right? Because you've got Joe, a guy with experience, and then you've got the kid with the golden arm coming up as a true freshman. A lot of people may say wide receiver, right? That's something I wanted to get into, Ben, that I didn't get to talk about was you got 4 really good wide receivers and a coach that likes to play 3. That's a good problem to have. Defensive line with Rodney Garner. Rodney Garner hates everybody. All he ever does is argue and complain and say that they're not where they need to be. Very complimentary of his defensive lineman in his press conference. McAllen Castles met with the media today, and he was not asked about freshmen. He was not asked about young guys. He was asked, who are the guys that stand out to you on defense? Let's take a listen to the clip from McAllen Castles, the tight end that you guys love, and I don't know. Let's take a listen.
Oh, man, I got to shout out Aaron Carter, man. That dude fills holes fast, and he is going to lace you in the hole. I've never seen a dude come in so ready to play from a young guy standpoint. And then the other guys, Aaron Beasley and Keenan Peely, that's like as veteran as you can get at linebacker. They don't do anything wrong. They're always there and make plays. Super solid. And then Tank, man, Jalen McCullough, he's just like, he is so solid. Special teams and everything he does, super sound technique, and he's always like high energy, ready to coach everybody up.
So let me answer this question real quick. BG says, where can you listen to Ainge? If you go to Spotify and just put in the Eric Ainge Show, they upload like within 30 minutes to an hour after the first hour goes up, they upload the first, second, third hour. It goes up pretty quick every day as they record. He's on the Sports Animal, but you can catch it on Spotify. And that's what brings me to this clip and this question to you, Coach Jay, because when I made the video about Ainge and the buzz around fall camp and talking about the linebackers, somebody said, what does Coach Jay, an old linebackers coach, think about this linebacker room? And again, McAllen Castles asked about guys that stand out on defense. The first name out of his mouth is Arian Carter, but then he follows that up with Keenan Peely and also Aaron Beasley. How would you grade this linebacker room as a whole? You're talking about, Beasley and Peely. You're talking about Elijah Herring, Caleb Perry. You're talking about the young guys, Arian Carter, Jalen Smith, Jeremiah Thielander. Where do you think this linebacker room's at?
I think they're extremely strong. I said it the other. I don't know if it was in the EA night or when I said it, but I was saying that, will Caleb Perry be the first linebacker that transfers out of UT? And I didn't mean that as a knock on Caleb Perry. I think Caleb Perry is a good SEC linebacker. I think that's how stocked this linebacker room is. And my ears perked up when I heard those two guys just don't make mistakes. Probably the biggest compliment you could give a linebacker is they don't make mistakes back there. It's a position that it's just very easy to make an error as a linebacker because you have to read and go so quickly, and a lot of schemes are designed around fooling you specifically as a linebacker. So to hear that they don't make mistakes is extremely high praise. It didn't take very much film to realize Arian Carter arrives at holes extremely quickly and with bad intentions. That man, I think, will go very, very high on Sundays, and I think he grades really, really high in the pass protection side of things as well. I think he's going to be an absolute nightmare for opposing offenses to deal with, and it's going to take a lot to keep him off the field this first year.
I'm going to fight people because everybody in the media is running with that narrative. But you heard it here first. You heard it here first from Coach Jay. Don't you dare forget it. We've heard from Ben McKee about the defensive line. We've heard from Rodney Garner about how he's happy with his defensive line and how they're coming along. Now you're hearing from Eric Ainge. You're hearing from other people that the linebacker unit's the best position group on the football team. So if your front seven's dialed in, they're locked in. What was the worst position group last year? Everybody wants to talk about the secondary. Something interesting that I want to get into that I heard, I think it was Kaner. I don't remember where I heard it. It might have been Eric Ainge. Can't remember. Warren Burrell is working in the star position. That's very interesting to me because he's a guy that's played a lot of football at Tennessee. He's a good football player. He is, but I think we go back to the bowl game against Purdue and all the times that he got burnt, and we keep waiting on him to do more, and it's not happening. Another name, Gabe Jeudy-Lally. Easy for me to say. Gabe Jeudy-Lally transfers in from BYU. I'm kind of thinking, okay, he's getting brought in to start at one of the corner positions because we need help at corner. Gabe Jeudy-Lally also working in that star position. Now, out of that, Tamarion McDonald, a guy that played star last year a lot, could possibly jump back to safety. A lot of talk about Danico Slaughter and also Kamal Haddon at corner. Do you think this secondary X can be better in 2023?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I really feel like that definitely can be better. And for our sake, I really hope that it is better because it's like what you said, Boog. Last season, the two narratives about our defense that we were always talking about was the secondary unit and our linebacker unit. And as I'm the biggest, Jeremy Banks' fan that there is, even despite of the situation allegedly. But yeah, I mean, I really do believe that, that these players that we got from the portal on the recruiting trail are really going to come in and make a difference. Yeah, I really feel like with this defense, like I said, like the front seven's going to be solid. Like I said, I trust Rodney Gardner with my life. Like I said, look, if put my life savings on it, like I said, if I needed to build a wall, like saying I trust Rodney Gardner. But yeah, I really think the linebacker room and the safeties are going to really step up this year. And for our sake, I hope that they really do because that was one of our worstest kind of areas that because eventually everybody kind of caught on to what we were doing defensively, so they were just like, oh, okay, you're going to send the whole house at me, then I'm just going to just beat you over the top.
Yeah, if the front four particularly, if Rodney Garner's happy a week into camp, how good is that front four? And we talk about James Pierce, Joshua Joseph, the young guys I was talking about with Ben. It's like they're still sophomores. Like you're gonna be in a better spot 2 years from now when those guys are upperclassmen if you continue to recruit at this level. Let me hit a couple of super chats real quick. Joe Brown says he became a member, but I think he just upgraded his membership to Talkin VAWLS Gold. Appreciate that support, Joe. Don't forget, guys, 267 people watching live. Only a few members have come in. You want a free shirt? That free shirt's going to cost you about $30. You can join the channel for $1 and be entered into the raffle. We will announce next Wednesday. And I've not decided on the guest for next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, 7 o'clock, same as always, we're going to be live. I'm thinking A to Z Sports. I'm thinking, I don't know. Who do you guys want? Let me know. We'll see where we go. But I will announce the winner of the shirt. If you want a shot, $1. Well, it's a 1 month commitment. $1. Hit the join button down below. But thank you, Joe, for upgrading your membership. Also drops a $2 super chat. It says 557 hours and 10 minutes. Let's fluffing go. I appreciate that, Joe. Appreciate the support, brother. Raven, 22A for $20. That is not cheap. It says counting down to the scrimmage. Hashtag GBO. Let me hit this one real quick, too. Voice for Radio for 2 says McCullough was indicted. Will he get to play? I think this coaching staff's banking on him being innocent because he's still getting plenty of reps, but he's also running with the twos some. You're seeing some rotation there. Andre Turrentine, however you want to say it, is also getting a lot of time. We'll see how that court situation plays out. It's not something that I've talked a lot about because I think Jalen McCullough is innocent. If somebody walks into my house and I tell them to leave and then they come back and I knock their teeth down their throat, they deserve it. Like you guys have said, he's lucky it wasn't something worse. But thank you, Voice for Radio, for the 2. Chris Farmer for 5. I just hope we can stop making backup QBs look like Heisman finalists. Shout out Coach J and X.
Shit. What's up?
What?
What's
like,
good?
What am
shout
I?
out for you.
What like
shout out to the captain.
My chopped liver? I don't know if you guys were at the top of the show. Right before we went live, I was arguing on VolQuest because somebody told me that I don't know football. And it's funny because I've never claimed to know football. I've always claimed to be a diehard, passionate fan that loves football. I'm not an X's and O's guy, and I'll never be an X's and O's guy. Roger Gerald, member for 11 months, man. Appreciate that. Almost a year of support. Can't wait for the season to begin. GBO, I love that StreamYard finally updated so I can get these member chats. That way you guys get recognized for the amount of time you have supported us. So I appreciate that. Shout out to Power T. Also becomes a member of the channel at Talkin VAWLS Elite. Bro, that is not cheap. That's $10 worth of support. I appreciate that, my man. Thank you for that. We'll put you in the t-shirt drawing 10 times. So we appreciate that. X, how do you pronounce that one?
Tula? No, Tula?
Tatholta. You missed a T, bro.
Tatholta.
It's got to be
Tatholta. I apologize, but Tatholta.
New member, we appreciate that. We'll throw you into the drawing as well. Bleed Orange, member for 16 months. Let's go back to this super chat. For $20, counting down to the scrimmage. Hashtag GBO. Scrimmage number 1 coming up tomorrow. X Factor. What are you looking for? And it's going to be limited. The media is going to be limited, but look, the media has connections, right? They're going to reach out to coaches, to people in the administration. They're going to have, there's going to be some news coming out of that scrimmage. But what does the X Factor want to read? If you could paint a picture perfect scrimmage number 1, what would you be looking for?
So what I'm looking forward in the first scrimmage tomorrow is that, like I said, we've been talking about it for majority of the night. I want to see the defense step it up. I want to see what this team looks like now than what they did in the previous years. I want to see, like I said, and also I want the defense to make plays. I don't want them to just have I don't want Joe Milton to just throw the ball and and he causes a few interceptions, whatever. But I just want the defense to make a play. I want to hear about the secondary. I want to hear about what the secondary was, and then definitely even with the linebackers, and because that was also a biggest issue to us too, was that we just could not get after the quarterback. I don't know why Tennessee struggles so hard to get after the quarterback, but as far as the defensive side of the ball, that's what I want to hear about. It's just what the secondary is going to do and how our linebackers are going to do, because that's all we keep hearing about. On the offensive side of the ball is like what I just said before. Don't want to hear about Joe Milton is inaccurate and all that, because we've seen that he looks more elusive. He looks more comfortable. He knows that he is the captain of this team. So hopefully that, like saying, we'll see Joe make some good plays as well. Definitely want to see, like saying, some of the running backs. Like I said, I want to hear most of the guys, see how they're doing. And then also about saying the offensive line too, because that's also a big question mark as well. It's just, how's the offensive line looking for Joe in order for him to make plays. So, but that's what I'm really hoping for in this first scrimmage, that we'll definitely see a better of this team from what we've seen it last year.
Somebody in the chat said, Boogie, talk about the O-line. Chad R, talk about the O-line. Go back and rewind, watch from the beginning. Ben McKee did a great job breaking down the offensive line. And if it comes up naturally, we'll continue to talk about it, but I'm just not going to regurgitate what he already said. So make sure you go get a rewatch here. Coach Jay, football coach. I love the comment from Wayne earlier. Boogie doesn't need to know X's and O's. Coach Jay does. That's the beautiful thing about this community, man. I don't need to know X's and O's. Josh Pate has gone on record and saying, I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm a guy that knows college football. I know the grand scheme of things, what's going on. I'm never going to be a guy that breaks down film or gets detailed. That's what coach is for, and that's the beautiful thing about the Talkin VAWLS Network. But let's talk about it. Scrimmage number 1, fall camp. As a ball coach, what are you looking for as a whole?
Yeah, as a whole, I think you're just looking for clean football. Thing number 1, are we lining up correctly? Think of just the most simplistic, basic things. Can we line up correctly? And that just doesn't mean in our formations. It means in our position, in our shading, and position relative to where the offense or the defense is in relation to you. Another big one in a first scrimmage is no penalties. I don't want to see any penalties in the first scrimmage. Can we come out playing clean? Anyone will tell you our offense, the second we start getting false start penalties, it is the absolute kryptonite to the Josh Heupel offense. You saw it in the Georgia game. You saw it manifest in a couple other places, but certainly there. I want to see that clean from the very beginning if I'm on this coaching staff. Another thing I want to see from the defense, I want to see Elijah Simmons, and I know people might not like this, but I would like to see him just kick the ever-loving crap right out of our offensive line. I'd like to see him take that next step because I think O is there, and I think Norman Lott, from everything Rodney Gardner said, is going to be a beast. I think Tyler Barron looks good as well. I think he's kind of taking the offseason seriously. I think Roman Harrison's kind of a consummate pro by this point. And you want to see steps from, people like West and Josephs and Pierce and all that kind of thing in the edge. But I'd really like to see Elijah Simmons take that next step. They've always talked about it. Go beat the crap out of Ollie Lane, right? Go make Ollie Lane know if I want to start on this team and get it done in the SEC, I better really figure out how I'm going to have to block people like that, because Elijah Simmons has the size and the speed of an elite SEC defensive lineman. And, I'd like a little bit of a slap in the face and a wake up call to our interior offensive line. So I'll be looking for that. And I'd like to continue to see another step from Danico Slaughter and really just, continue to take that next step and settle into that cornerback position that he's had. And then the most important thing, of course, is you want to come out of it clean with not a lot of injuries. Hopefully Arian Carter doesn't deplete someone too bad. But I heard a running back got the best of him in a hitting drill the other day. Old number 0 on who moved his Jalen Wright.
Right, yeah,
Jalen Wright.
He looks slick as 0. I like it.
He's looking slick as 0, absolutely, and he looks like he put on some strength. I think 2 years ago when he got challenged that he couldn't be that third and short back, that 4th and 1 back. I think he really took that seriously, and you can really see he's gotten a lot stronger since then, and probably used a little bit of that upperclassman savvy and taught Arian a lesson that you need taught, quite frankly, when you hit the college field.
My favorite thing about that drill, the drill you're talking about, is Kaner was talking about it. It was one-on-one, right? It's linebackers versus running backs, pass pro. And I love that Keenan Peely was a step ahead. Everything is calculated. And not to be a freaking nerd and everybody's gonna be like, oh, here comes Boogie the tough guy. It's like jiu-jitsu. Like, I can't just put you in a triangle choke. But if I can tease the triangle choke and then I can switch to an armbar and then counter to an omoplata, I'm thinking 3 steps ahead. You, as a young guy, are going, oh, I just got to defend the triangle. And it's like, bro, I'm 3 steps ahead of you. I'm looking for the omoplata, not the triangle, not the armbar, and you're in panic mode the whole time. And that's kind of what Keenan Peely did. It's like, I'm going to set you up so I can use this move to get to the quarterback. And that was one of my favorite things of that drill. A lot of people in the chat asking about the scrimmage. The media doesn't even get access to the scrimmage. So I will I might make a video in the morning, but I will probably either I'll do 2 videos or I'll do 1 video in the afternoon once the reports start to come out. Because look, the media, they have contacts, man. They're going to be contacting coaches, people in the administration. Stuff is going to leak from the scrimmage. We are going to have an idea of where this football team's at coming out of the scrimmage. But that will be later in the afternoon. So either I'll drop a video in the morning and afternoon or just the afternoon. So just be looking for that. X, I cut you off. What were you going to say, buddy?
Oh, I was just going to say, going back to, Jalen Wright. Well, I mean, he has to perform this year, right? Because remember, from this past season, the off season, he was doing little Twitter fingers. He was like, hey, give me a bigger NIL deal. If not, I'm going to enter the portal. Give me, and it worked. The front office, they felt that pressure and they were like, okay, because you got to give credit where credit's due. I think he played really awesome at the end of the last season. I mean, yeah, he had problems, fumbling the football, and he cleaned that up pretty well. So yeah, I mean, for going into this season, I really do want to see him as like the top, running back that he says that he is, that he got that NIL deal. And that's no disrespect to Jabari Smalls, because I love Jabari Smalls, but it's just the big question is, can he stay healthy? That's the really big question I'm concerned with. And then I also want to see Dylan Sampson too. Is this running back room is really, really stacked. I'm
loaded.
really excited.
Loaded.
Oh yeah.
Let me jam through some super chats here. VFL Willie for 2. Appreciate that, brother. Coach Jay, does Christian Harrison ever take a step? He's a guy that I'm not hearing much about in camp as of now.
Yeah, he sounds like he's been on a little bit of neutral ground, I guess maybe is the best way to put it. Here's the thing, right? With the way we've been recruiting and the way they've been developing talent, and I know Boogie said it on here before, and we all kind of need to keep saying it. You're going to see kids come in that are extremely talented, have a ton of upside, but you know what? Everyone we're bringing in now is talented and has a ton of upside. So we're going to kind of have to get comfortable in, letting someone that we're rooting for sometimes not being the cream that rises to the top of the depth chart, So I'm rooting for Christian Harrison. He had a ton of talent, and I was very high on him coming out of high school. And, he's got time. Let's see if he can put it together. But right now, it seems like he's on a little bit of neutral ground. But who knows when the light bulb will go off for a player.
Let me jam through a couple of more. Matt Zimmerman, member for 12 months. Matt's here every time at the beginning of every stream. It never fails. Matt is always here. I appreciate the support, brother. Matt Mars, member for 9 months. Appreciate that support. Excited to see what Joe can do and see the growth of the guys coming back. If the D improves even a little, this team will be a playoff contender. That's something we're an hour and 6 minutes in. I want to get into that exact point, and maybe we'll get into it in just a little bit. Thank you, Matt Mars. Appreciate that support, brother. Trey Thomas becomes a member of the channel. Guys, don't forget, man, $1, like $1 commitment. It's all I'm asking. You want a chance to win free Talkin VAWLS merch. It can be Buck Fama. It can be Fuga. It can be the TriStar, the State Pride shirt that you're seeing me and the X Factor rep right now. Whatever you want from the store, a free t-shirt I'm going to give to anybody that joins the channel as a member tonight. If you're already a member, make sure you come back after the video processes, leave a comment, and you could say, go Big Orange, Boogie's an idiot, Coach Jay's the man, whatever you want to say. You can say that I know nothing about football. I don't care. If you're a member and you leave a comment on this video or you become a member during this live stream, you're going to be entered to win a free Talkin VAWLS t-shirt. So make sure you guys go check it out. All right, let's see. Where do I want to go from here? Let's do this. Let's take a look at this. Something that's it's kind of old news, but something I still want to get into, and that is the U.S. Today coaches poll. Tennessee comes in at number 10. Let's take a look at the top 10 here. Of course, you got Georgia at the top. I'm gonna run it down real quick, and then I'll get your opinions on this. Tennessee again coming in ranked 10th in the coaches poll, and this isn't like they're ranking the best teams, right? These coaches are supposed to be. Now, whether they are or not, I don't know. They're supposed to be ranking who they think are the best 10 football teams in the country. It's not supposed to be about schedule, strength of schedule, conference. No, it's none of that. It's supposed to be who are the best 10 teams in the country. Tennessee comes in at number 10. You start at the top there. Georgia at number 1. Lost one game. They have lost one game, and this, it pains me to say it. It hurts my spirit. They've lost one game in 2 seasons of football, and that was to Alabama. And the funny thing is, you can see the first place votes there. Georgia got 61, Alabama 4, Ohio State 1. Let's be real, man. I tell it like it is. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Georgia, as much as I hate them, they deserve every single first place vote. If you've lost one game in 2 years, back-to-back defending national champs, you deserve to be at number 1. Number 2, Michigan. Obviously embarrassed by TCU in the semifinals last year. I don't respect the Big 10, Big 11, Big whatever they're called now. You know, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe somebody like Penn State, Michigan State will occasionally do something. Number 3, Bama. I'm cool with that, whatever. 4 first place votes, kind of comical. Number 4, Ohio State. Just regurgitate what I said about Michigan. I mean, that's it. Like, is Michigan a good football team? Yes. Is Ohio State a good football team? Yes. There's a difference in playing in their conference and playing in the SEC. Like it is so much more difficult. You put one of those teams in the SEC, are they losing 2, 3, 4 games? I don't know. They're good football teams. They can beat Alabama. They can beat Georgia, Tennessee, LSU. But if you had to do it on a weekly basis, it's a little different. LSU, number 5, 9-4 a year ago. I think Jaden Daniels has a big year. I think he has a big year this season. Number 6, USC, 11, coming off an 11-win season. They got embarrassed by Tulane in the Cotton Bowl, but I'll let Coach Jay talk about USC coming up in just a second. Number 7, Penn State, again, 11-win season, but do you really respect them? Number 8, FSU, 10-win season. Number 9, Clemson. Do you guys remember who we beat in the Orange Bowl? What? Number 10, Tennessee. Coach, what do you think about this top 10? And kind of talk, if you want to go team by team or if you want to just talk about USC, whatever you want to get into. What do you think about this top 10?
I mean, I agree with you about Georgia, right? I think they deserve the votes right now. Definitely. You know, Michigan, I guess I'm all right with it. Now, Bama, I don't agree with. And you know, I know I might be on a different page than everyone here, but I've got Bama closer to the 9 and 10 region of this list, personally. And I could be dead wrong by that, certainly. And if they figure out the quarterback issue there, I probably will be wrong about it. But I'm not close to being convinced that they will. So we'll see.
I love that, Coach.
Yeah. No, it's just how I feel about it. It's not even so much. I mean, I dislike Bama. I'm not going to pull putt on that, but I just they've got a big quarterback hole, and it's not like Ohio State or Georgia where I kind of feel kind of comfortable with the talent that's coming in. I'm pretty sus of the people that Bama have sitting there coming in and their ability to perform at a top 3 in the country level. So it remains to be seen. We'll see. LSU, I think they belong in the list, but maybe a tick or two down as well. I think Daniels could have a great year. I think he mirrors Joe Milton in a lot of ways. He needs to show he can be consistent. He's been hot a lot, and he's been throwing things way too high in a lot of games. He's failed to hit the deep ball at a high tick in a lot of games. So, and that tracks all the way back to his time in Arizona as well. So we'll see there. Penn State, they're a solid team, but I'm not sure about that. USC, if their offensive tackle,
hold on a second, please.
Yeah,
please don't give a recruiting pitch for USC. Coach, I want your honest opinion. What I don't want is telling us why Cam Fountain should go to USC instead of Tennessee.
Yeah. No. Well, why he should not is because they haven't figured out the defensive line yet, and we have the best defensive line coach in America. Is why Cam Fountain should not go there.
Okay, please proceed.
If their offensive line transfers can change the dynamic in their running game, I think the South Carolina running back transfer will go a long way towards helping change the dynamic in their running game. But if those offensive tackles can help change that dynamic and they can get some consistent play from their front 7 on both sides of the ball, I think they can compete for a title with the quarterback they have and the offensive system they have. Florida State, ton of talent, can never stay healthy. Seems like they always find a way to crap the bed. Clemson, I don't know that I necessarily see them in the top 10 this year. Maybe that's just me. I think maybe I would pop them into that 11 slot and put Washington into that 9 slot. But maybe that's just me.
What do you think, X, looking at this top 10 from the coach?
Well, I'm going to agree with both of y'all with Georgia. Yes, you got to give credit where credit's due, man. Back-to-back champs for Georgia. I mean, they definitely deserve that number 1 spot. Number 2, Michigan. I mean, we always know it's a big battle between Michigan and Ohio State. I mean, yes, are both teams really, really good? Yes, they are. And both teams do occasionally, one makes the playoffs and one doesn't. So I feel like with Michigan, it's just going to come down to that battle again, which one's going to outplay who to get to the playoffs. Alabama, like I said, I really love what Coach said earlier is that, yes, because, and I've been saying this, for a while now on the show for a while. Like, we can all agree, Nick Saban is the GOAT. I have been saying that for a very long time. You got to give credit where credit's due right there. But I feel like with this coming season and like what Coach said with the quarterback situation in Bama, we don't know how Bama is going to perform this year. And I've been saying this too. I feel like if Nick Saban can't get Alabama either to the SEC championship or even the national championship, then I say he's probably going to walk out the door and retire. But like I said, probably not this year, maybe next year. We're not sure. LSU, um, it like I said, I have two best friends that are LSU fans, and one, like I said, he gives me hell. He really does. It's funny that he always says like, "Oh, you only beat us because it was noon, in Death Valley." And I was like, "So you have to wait till it gets dark to beat a
You
team?"
remind him it was 40-13. Like,
Oh
no
yeah.
excuses. You got
Oh
no
yeah.
excuses.
Oh yeah, I do. But anyway, yeah, I mean LSU. Don't get me wrong. We know that they're a very talented football team. I mean, I was really actually pretty impressed with Brian Kelly has done in his first year. Like I say, you got to give credit there as well. Um, but I just feel like I said, it depends on Daniels, man. I feel like if he stays healthy throughout the season, yeah, he can take LSU far. But if he gets injured, which, God forbid, we don't want that to happen, then I say LSU's just not gonna kind of make it to the off season. Like I said, then USC, well, I'm not gonna throw any, recruiting pitches on that one, but I will say this, Lincoln Riley is a pretty dang good coach though. So we know what Lincoln Riley is about, but I mean USC, yeah, I believe they do deserve that spot. Penn State, I'm not gonna lie, I really don't care much about Penn State. I really don't. I mean, they are a good football team, but
11-win season a year ago. 11 wins.
that is true. That is true. But I mean, but look at us, Bug. I mean, look, we had 11 wins too, and
It's
you've
true.
seen what happened. You
And
know,
look, full transparency. It's not like, I don't know, Coach J may have, X may have. It ain't like I broke down all these rosters. We're just spitting here. Like, right, I start to break down Tennessee's opponent the week of the game. I'm not breaking down the portal and recruiting and all that stuff. So we're spitting here. We're spitting. So I whatever. Penn State sucks.
Oh yeah, exactly. Florida State. Listen, if you can beat Florida at the end of the season, round of applause, round of applause. Even though they are a Florida team, I don't love them completely, but Florida State, like what Coach said, it's weird. They do kind of struggle to stay healthy towards the end of the season. But like I said, if you can upset Florida and you can definitely upset LSU, you have my highest praise there. But yeah, they could be down a slot, I'd say. Of course, going to Clemson, come on. I mean, do I really have to say? I mean, it's really embarrassing. I really feel like we should be up a spot from then Clemson. Yeah, Clemson, I feel like should, like Coach said, I feel like Clemson should be right there where Washington's at, maybe even 12, because, I mean, come on now. Like, did you not see us perform in the Orange Bowl? And then, of course, you have us, which, like I said, I mean, it's cool. I feel like it's just, typical media taking a shot at Tennessee really early, saying, like, oh, we had a big season last season. Now here comes a new season. What are the Vols going to do? Because they lost so many offensive weapons, Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, then a lot of offensive, defensive guys. So that's why I feel like they put us at that 10th spot. But it's okay. We're here to prove them wrong, and hopefully we'll have another great season.
Messaging you guys in the private chat right now as I'm going to read this super chat from Bleed Orange 31. $20 is not cheap. We appreciate that, brother. Thanks for all you do, Boogie. What's up, X and J? I'm looking forward to seeing Joe go to New York. Met Joe at the Manning Academy. He's a stand-up dude. Hashtag the real UT. I'm excited about Joe. I am, and maybe we'll get into it. We'll see. We'll see if we get into it or not.
I think his picture right there is of Joe.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
That's awesome, my man. That's awesome.
Look at that beautiful beard. Look at that beautiful beard on Bleed Orange, man. Spoiler alert. Maybe I'll be talking about beards coming up in the next couple of weeks and getting paid for it. I don't know. Spoiler alert. We'll see what happens. But shout out Bleed Orange. $20 ain't cheap. Appreciate the support, brother. We got 250 people still watching live. Guys, we appreciate your support. You guys make this channel what it is. We need your support. Hit the join button down below. $1. We're asking for $1. If you're watching live right now, you've been watching for an hour and 20 minutes, and you're like, man, I love this show. I love Boogie. I love Coach Jay. I love the X Factor. Maybe you say I hate Boogie, but I love Coach Jay and the X Factor. Hit that join button. We would appreciate that support. It keeps the lights on. It truly does pay the bills. It gives me the opportunity to do this thing. I want to take a different spin on this because, again, been listening to Eric Ainge. They were talking about the coaches poll, and I thought he brought up an interesting question because right now the top 20 comes out, coaches poll, and they're ranking who they think the best teams are, right? So let's say who are the best 10 teams? What does Tennessee need to do, Coach, to finish in the top 10? Is it a 10-win season? Does Tennessee need to finish 10-2 to finish this year inside the top 10? And if so, I mean, what's it going to take? What is it going to take from Joe Milton? What's it going to take from this defense? What's it going to take from the offensive line? What does this football team have to do to finish inside the top 10?
Yeah, I think the secondary needs to take a step forward. You need to. A lot of people take it for granted, but Tennessee's been great against stopping the run the last 2 years. That I think that's something we take for granted as Tennessee fans. We need to take care of all those things that we usually take care of. We don't worry about the wide receivers in a Josh Heupel offense. We need to continue to not worry about the wide receivers in a Josh Heupel offense. And the offensive line needs to stay healthy, right? I think the depth is a bit of an issue there. And we get into freshmen pretty quickly in our depth chart in the offensive line. So I think they need to stay healthy there, and in particular at the guard and the center position. We need to stay healthy, and we need to play clean football from a penalty standpoint. Especially, I'll circle back to that false start statement as many times as you let me say it. That false start is the kryptonite of the Josh Heupel offense. We need to keep it clean on the football field, and we'll be just fine, I think. So those are the main things I think we need to do to have a successful year.
What about you, X?
Yeah, everything what Coach has said, I really truly agree. Yeah, like I said, just health is a real big importance, especially on the offensive line, because I really feel like the offensive line is going to play a big part in how Joe's going to perform this year. Because like we talked about before, we had Hidden Hooker last season that was explosive and elusive, and he can escape the pocket and continue to make plays. Joe can too, but it's just where he's just just this big massive tank that likes to stay in the pocket, which also too, I hope that during the scrimmage that you hear more of Joe, like I said, being more, like I said, explosive, making plays with his feet. That's also what I want to hear a little bit from scrimmage as well. But yeah, man, I mean, it's going to really depend on that offensive line if they can keep Joe up on his feet, because if not, then Wesley, we're definitely going to be in some trouble. Because like Coach said, the wide receivers are good. I have real faith in our running backs. Running backs are stacked. We're good in that group. It just boils down to just Joe and what the offensive line is how they're going to perform this year.
Yeah. Let me hit this super chat from Pit Boss for 5. Appreciate that support, brother. For hating X. Here you go, bro. We got you. Who hates X? I don't hate X. Maybe I do hate X. I've not decided yet. But thank you for the $5, Pit Boss. We appreciate that support, brother. Let's take a look at one more thing. Again, don't forget, guys, smash the thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Go check out the merch. If you want free merch, join the channel. $1. You're entered into the raffle for $1. I'm on a membership drive, man. I can't even remember how far away we are. I think it's like 250. I want 250 members before football season starts. Can you guys make that happen in 3 weeks? Like 3 weeks? Can you guys make it happen? I doubt it. I don't believe in you. I hope you believe in me. Let's take a look at this. This is fun because this kind of can bleed into the offensive line. These are comments made by Alabama defensive coordinator Kevin Steele. And right out of the gate with Kevin Steele, I don't know how much you guys dive into conspiracy theories and tinfoil hat stuff. Was Kevin Steele hired, Coach Jay, to be Philip Fulmer's golden child? As Pruitt was out the door, Fulmer thought, I'm still going to keep my seat. It's like it is real life Game of Thrones, right? Everybody's getting their throat slit, and Coach Fulmer's like, oh, okay. I'm going to hire Kevin Steele. He's going to be the defensive coordinator, but he's really going to be my head coach in waiting. And then I'm going to promote T. Martin to the offensive coordinator, and I've got full control. And then they're like, well, no, you're fired too, Phil. You're fired too, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. Time to sit the next couple plays out. No doubt. So yeah, I think there was a little bit of the old Game of Thrones jockeying going on over there. So interesting stuff. We'll see if Steele can press the Alabama defense forward. I think they were good for the most part last year. I think they came up short in some big games and kind of lost that nasty edge that the Bama defenses used to have. It's kind of that mean disposition that they had. They were good and fast and tough, but I think they lost a little bit of that nastiness that they had last year, and at times played timid. I don't want to say afraid, but maybe timid. The only one who was ever afraid was their wide receiver hitting women. So, it is what it is.
I just thought it was kind of funny going into this article because this was a quote from Kevin Steele meeting with the media, Alabama defensive coordinator. They asked him on how the defense in college football has changed and adjusted the last 10 years. Here's the quote. It is a challenge defensively right now in terms of tempo. Several years back started things, and then multiplicity of formations have gone off the roof. We even have people that if they spread out any further, they'd be on the sidelines. They'd be on the bench. They're using the whole thing. He goes on to say those kind of things have happened, but then also the RPOs and then the eye candy that goes with that, play action type stuff, where you got pullers and runners going opposite, that's going down the exit ramp. X, you think he's taking a shot at Tennessee, or do you think this is respect for Tennessee and what Josh Heupel's doing? Because people want to call it a gimmick offense, but if it works, it works. What do you think about these comments from Kevin Steele?
We can all be real. It's a little bit of shot at Tennessee, I feel like, because I mean, do I really have to say with that game too? You had a Jalen Hyatt running butt naked in the backfield just the whole game, the whole entire game. And, we all seen Nick Saban on the sideline literally about to break another headset again.
Loved it.
So,
Loved it.
Yeah, loved it too. But yeah, I kind of feel like this is a little bit, and it could be both. I could be wrong. It could be also a compliment, maybe also a shot at Tennessee. But I mean, come on now. If we all watched that glorious game from this past season, what does Josh Heupel like to do? He likes to, like I said, spread the offense, get his wide receivers open, and then he also likes to run the ball up the gut. So, I mean, like I said, could be wrong, could be a shot at us, could be a compliment, but I just think, hey, I'm going to go ahead and just say this. If you want to call our offense a gimmick, and if I'm reading this correctly, that if the defensive line do not know how to line up correctly, bring it on. Especially we're going down to Tuscaloosa, bring it on. We'll just embarrass you like we did, like saying in our house.
Yep.
So let me throw this in a different direction at you, Coach. Talking about this offense and whether Kevin Steele's insulting Tennessee or complimenting Tennessee, it doesn't really matter. But we talked about earlier in the show with Ben McKee, and then when you guys came on, everybody's talking about the offensive line, right? Everybody's worried about whether or not Tennessee's offensive line can hold up. But when you look at Tennessee's offense, right, they're going to spread you out wide. They're going to spread you. He's saying it right here. If they spread out any further, they'd be on the sidelines. They're going to spread you out as wide as possible, and then they're going to run the football. Like they ran the football for almost 200 yards per game last year. I think that was like almost top 25. I think it was 26th nationally as far as numbers go. They run the football. That's what Josh Heupel wants to do. And if they have success with that, then they're going to hit you over the top because you have to bring that safety down. You've got to bring somebody into the box, and that is what makes Josh Heupel's offense work. So you can call it a gimmick, you can call it schemes and scams. I don't really care. It works, and that's why they were the #1 scoring offense in the country. So do you think the way this offense works, the way it's designed, do you think you can kind of mask maybe an offensive line that's not as good as others?
Yeah, I think you can mask it to a degree, but sooner or later you gotta play someone like Georgia. Bama didn't necessarily have that dominant nose tackle or inside guard presence last year that Georgia had. But you watch that Bama game, and I love Mays. I think he's a great center, a great leader, and moves the offense really well. But whether it was Mays or in most cases in that game, Carvin, and I like Jerome Carvin too, but he got his tail kicked in that game handily, guys, and anything else is lying. You're looking in the mirror and you're lying at yourself if you didn't watch that game and think that Carvin got his tail kicked in, because he did. And when you have a dominant person like that, I mean, think back to when Oregon was running super fast and they played Auburn. The reason Oregon couldn't run fast in that national championship game is because Nick Fairley kicked the ever-loving crap right out of the center for Oregon. If you got a dominant interior lineman, it can allow you to play that spread offense a little more straight up and even things up and not allow the offensive line to mask maybe not a deficiency, I want to say, but able to mask not having to bring up additional help into the box. Yeah.
Interesting points. I just wanted to get your all's feedback on the comments from Kevin Steele. I thought it was, I really don't think it's an insult. I think it's almost just the game is changing and it's going to continue to change and evolve. So many people comment when I make a video about recruiting and they talk about NIL and they say the game's over, college football's dead. It's not dead. It's still the most popular sport in America, period. Like the NFL. It's college football. That's the best sport in America. So, I just wanted to get your all's feedback on that. We're an hour and a half into this thing. I've still got stuff keyed up, loaded up, but maybe I will use it for a video in the morning. So make sure you guys tune in for that. I'll be breaking down scrimmage #1 probably tomorrow afternoon. I've not even asked Coach Jay, but Williams Winery is scheduled to make his commitment on August the 14th. You down to live stream it? He's not announced the time yet. So you have to look at the old calendar and see what's going on. If you can't, I'm going to ride or die with it. I'm going with it.
It depends on the time of day, Boogie, on the 14th. Actually, the 14th.
That's a Monday.
It depends on the time of day. I'm either going to be hopping a play the 14th, playing a 14th, or the 15th. We've got a scrimmage against a really good NorCal team that I'm going up for. So we'll see. Depends on the time.
Come hell or high water, we are going to be covering it with or without Coach Jay. I'll get the X Factor on you. He'll ride or die with me because that's a big one. And Sports Talk, Jay, if you're watching, I'm never going to be lazy again. I took a break. I took a freaking break. I took a freaking break because everybody said, Boogie, stop covering these commits that are going to other schools. And I said, okay, Amari Jefferson's going to Alabama. I'll take a break. I said, Coach, what do you think? He said, yeah, you're right, Boogie. Let's take the night off. We'll just relax tonight. And then I sat here and watched Sports Talk Jay get 1,000 live viewers. Never again. Never again, Sports Talk Jay. You're
I actually
my boy.
watched that too.
Where's Winery going?
X, what are you doing, X?
I'm just saying, like, look, Sports
What are
Talk
you doing,
Day.
X?
I watched it. I was just like, okay, I want to be for sure if he's going to Bama. But Boogie, you was in the comment section with me.
I was watching on three. Was not watching Sports Talk Jay.
Do you think if I offered Winery a special knees to nuts tutorial, he would come to Tennessee?
I think that's the difference. That's going to be the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to.
So what you should do is get on social media and DM him and say, "Hey, bro, knees to nuts, ass down, head up." You coming to Tennessee?
Wrap up. Hat on a ball.
I highly doubt it. Hey, a lot of people are hitting me up asking about this hat. Dude, like I wear the App State hat. They tell me I'm an idiot. I wear this So Nashville hat, and they tell me it looks great. People are happy about this hat. You can go to sonashville.com and pick it up. That ain't a plug. Like I don't get paid for that. I've just had a lot of people ask me. It's not a UT hat. It's like a Nashville hat, but it's got the TriStar, the state, the Tennessee. I like it. I dig it. sonashville.com is where you can pick that up. BBD's like, I'm not hating on Jay. I said it the other night. I said it on Monday night. I was joking about it. And I said, if I hated Sports Talk Jay, he would not be coming on my channel the Monday before the Virginia game. So it's just it's a little poke in the bear. It's a little poke in the bear is what I'm doing with Sports Talk Jay. He's the man. Looking forward to our crossovers coming up the Wednesday before the Virginia game. That Monday night, 7 o'clock, we're going to kick that thing off. So tune in for that. We're going to have Monday morning shows, Friday morning shows, all kinds of fun stuff. Again, join the channel for $1 a month. You hit the join button down below. Going to give a free t-shirt out to somebody. If you're already a member of the channel, make sure you leave a comment after we're done with this video. Come back, let it process, leave a comment. I'll pick somebody. You can still join the channel between now and next Wednesday. If you join the channel, you'll be entered to win. The higher you give, the more opportunities you get to win a free t-shirt. If not, that's cool, man. It's like I say it all the time. I appreciate everybody that supports this channel, but I also appreciate the community. Like if you just smash the thumbs up, that's free, and we appreciate it. But we're going to wrap this thing up. Trying to think. Next live stream is probably going to be next Monday. That's Williams Winery. If he goes late, if he's going to commit at like 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame, we'll move the NCAA stream to Tuesday, and we'll cover his commitment on Monday night. So just stay dialed in. If you're subscribed, the bells click for notifications. You'll know when we're going live and all that good stuff. But shout out to Coach Jay. He's the man. He's the X's and O's around here. I know you guys love him. I appreciate his support. Look, here's the deal. Been trying to give Coach Jay and Mrs. Coach Jay free merch. They won't even tell me what they want. I can't even send them free merch. I've already ordered X's. X's, it's on the way, brother. It's on the way. It's
Yes,
in the mail.
I'll quit
Yes,
lagging.
sir.
Yeah, it's coming to
Coach
X.
sleeping. Coach sleeping
Yeah,
on.
I know.
I know.
Coach Jay will let me know. We'll keep him decked
Yeah, I'll
out
let you.
in Talkin
I got
Balls
you.
merch. But I appreciate both of you guys, man. This channel's not about me. It's about the community, whether it's Coach, whether it's X, whether it's Dauber, who will be back the week before the season. I'm hoping Vols JP will be here next week. He's had some stuff going on, been texting them saying, when are you going to come back on? Man, the community, all the different opinions, that's what makes this thing what it is, and I appreciate it. I'm grateful, man. I'm blessed. I appreciate you guys. But for Coach Jay, for the X Factor, my name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin Balls Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call